Welcome, everybody, to the Bueller and Friends Monday Night Call. I'm Robert Laird, and your host for this week, and we are super excited because we just came out of an incredible conference in Dallas, Texas, where every time you think they've reached the top level of how far they can go with how awesome things are, you just discover, oh, nope, we were wrong. There's another place to go. So tonight we will be talking a lot about what we experienced and saw and heard and all of that kind of stuff at conference down in Dallas. And as always, we'd love to start, though, with people's successes for the week. So anybody who is excited about something that they had happened in the last week or so, whether it's a health result or a business result or whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, Robert. It's Rachel.
Go ahead, Rachel.
So I just decided to try the Kids Now in chocolate just to try it because
Sure.
I've heard such good things about it. I've heard it's really sweet. It's like dessert, and that's basically what it is.
True.
But I never imagined how much it would help me. I wanted to take it for my brain, actually,
Okay.
just to see what it would do. And I haven't been taking it for very long, but I can already tell that my brain is not as jumbled. It's not as foggy. I'm actually getting really good quality sleep from it. I have a lot more energy, and like right after I take it, I don't feel like I need to eat like that much for breakfast afterwards. It's helping like keeping me full until
Nice.
lunch, which is like really cool. And it tastes like a really delicious cup of hot chocolate. And I can't wait to see what other results comes from that. But I wanted to share that those are some of the results I've gotten so far.
That's really cool. And you've been on it less than a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That is
very
correct.
cool. Cool. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else have something they're excited about?
Robert, I'll share.
Go ahead, Christina.
So Rachel had just mentioned trying a new product, and after conference, they just launched a new product that I'm super excited about, and it helps with sleep, so I'm really excited to try it out for myself. The conference in itself was just amazing. I took so much excitement from everybody's energy and meeting the new group of distributors who are excited to get started working. So I'm excited to get started working, and I'm just excited to work with them.
Awesome. It's going to be an exciting next to 5.5 months till St. Louis?
Yep.
Very cool. Who else has something they're excited about?
Can you hear me, Robert?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
This is Luann, and conference was amazing, and Michael and Elizabeth Hill didn't have a ride to the airport. You know, they got $4,000, $500. All this money. It was awesome, so they rode with me to the airport, which was really interesting because I had the same Uber gal that I had going in.
Huh.
And she'd asked me a lot of questions about Relive. And so Elizabeth sat up in the front seat and just told her, how conference had gone. And, so we were sharing along the way. But I came home and I worked today and, sent out videos and everything. And I know so far one has purchased the new RLV melatonin. And so, yeah, it's just pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Very cool. Anybody else? Well, I know if Roger or Katie were on, they would share their excitement about the new melatonin RLV product as well. They both posted on their Insta stories on Friday night about the new product. And I think Katie got like 7 leads out of it, and Roger got a couple leads out of it as well. And people seem incredibly excited about that. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out as well. And it really was a fantastic product release. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. Has anybody else got anything they're excited about for this week, or should we keep on going?
That actually made me think about my post that I put on Facebook.
Yeah, fire away.
I was trying to figure out a way to
share about melatonin or find the right people to share specifically with. So I just decided to take a different approach, and I just asked Facebook, who has experience with melatonin, and I got like 50 responses or 40 or something crazy. And I still haven't worked my way through all the people that responded, but I'm just sending private messages back, just saying, hey, this was the reason why I asked, and if it interests you. And it just brought up some people that I'd never shared Relive with, some that I had, or some people that have been following, my Relive journey, some people that had been on Relive before. I mean, it just really ignited just this whole, just a bunch of people starting the conversation with. So I'm really excited to see where it all takes me, or takes us.
Exactly. And this new product, I mean, each one keeps getting better than the last, so it'll be really fun to see what happens when some of the science that Dr. Galvez was talking about comes to fruition as well. And unless somebody has something they're super excited about, then I am going to move on into tonight, which was really all about conference. And really the takeaway. So this is hopefully going to be somewhat interactive. And I picked out some things from conference that really stuck out at me and that I'd also taken pictures of just because we were traveling till late last night. We didn't have a ton of time to put this stuff together. But really, conference this week really is the first time where I would say it was mostly, if not all, forward-looking. And it was hosted by Tom Pinnock, as one would expect. And just very quickly, before we get into my takeaways, does anybody have anything that really jumped out at them from conference that they're walking away going, wow, I just can't get that out of my mind?
I do, Robert.
Go ahead.
I mean, there were many things, two special things for me, actually. Tom's daughter sharing about how she was able to hold her baby because of the hemp bomb. That was so touching, brought tears to my eyes. The other thing was listening to Bob Montgomery. I mean, there were so many things, but Bob Montgomery talking about his inflammation had started rising, and he took 40 Lunar Rich X capsules, and then he went back and it was in the green zone again. And so, I thought that was amazing, because sometimes people say, well, maybe that's too many or whatever. And so Bob took 40, and that came by, for Jim Shaven. I have one more thing. Raul and Aurora Paredes that were there, and I have admired them, and she's helped me in so many ways. And I noticed they hadn't been there for a long time. And she came up to me and she said that he had been very, very sick with multiple myeloma, opted not to do chemo, and he was cancer-free using the Relive products. So amazing things happen at conference.
Yeah, and going back to that story about Bob, it was the 40 capsules that ended up helping him. And he talked about how he also was taking an entire can of Classic and putting it in a blender and blending it up with water and then drinking it within 45 minutes, and really wasn't getting the results he wanted. And that's when the Shabans hopped in and said, you need to be taking 40 capsules. And that's really what made all the difference. And that was fascinating, wasn't it?
It was. It was just amazing.
Yeah, that was a super cool moment. Anybody else have any top highlights that they'd like to share from conference? Or experiences?
I'll share again.
Okay. Why don't you go, Christina, and then Lauren?
So Hawaii has just gotten so much simpler with the tracker on our app. I was just looking at it after book club, and it just simplifies it so much. Like, the app itself has been a gift, watching, tracking, just keeping yourself and the system really simple. But the tracker to Hawaii was something that I think is going to be such a game changer.
Yeah, it's a really good tool. Lauren.
Yeah. I I feel like more so recently, every time Dr. Galvez is up on stage, like he just gets more and more and more and more excited. And I don't think that he could be any more excited with what is going on with Lunison and CBD and the progress that's been made. And I know that everybody is just on pins and needles waiting for this product to be, finished. And it sounds like it's in the last stages. I mean, anything can happen, and who knows how long that will take. But I just adore Dr. Galvez, and seeing his excitement is just, you could just taste it. Like, what is it, palpable? It's just, the whole room was just feeding off of he was giddy. He was so giddy, and that was fun. I'm really, I was excited about Diane Helmold and her organization seminar. So I got a lot of notes just from that. And just, I think that's one of the things that I've always struggled with is organization, and knowing that somebody, others are there with me, and to see her business explode once she figured that out and got consistent. So that's just really been an inspiration for me to work on that 10 times more.
And her business went up, what was 146%? Was that what I remember?
Oh, yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah. And it was interesting because Tom was throughout the weekend sharing a lot of these people who went to Hawaii. In the course of going to Hawaii and getting organized and working with the tracker, their percentages of business from one year to the next were going anywhere from, I think the lowest one I heard was 14%, and the highest one I heard was 400 and something percent. But either way, those are phenomenal numbers in business. And it really shows the power of working for these trips and working for these promotions. Because it really can make a huge difference. It was ironic also hopping over to the Dr. Galvez things that you were saying you could taste it and it's palpable. I believe taste is actually what's holding up the new RLV Lunison product that
You're right.
I heard Dr. Galvez telling me on Friday night, and he and I were having a nice chat. And he was talking about how really what needed to happen to get Lunison into the RLV line is it had to be smaller. So that it would be bioactive. And basically the way we take it now, you digest the Lunison when you take a Lunar Chex capsule, or you're taking one of the other products. But because this is fluid form, it needs to be, the molecules basically need to be a whole lot smaller. And so I don't know if everybody caught this on Saturday, but they're actually using what it sounded like to me is sonic waves to cut up the Lunison peptide and make it smaller, so that you can drink it basically, or it can go into the tincture and your body can absorb it. And the exciting part about that is not only does it make it smaller and more bioactive, but it'll actually be able to go to different places in your body that it currently just isn't reaching. And that's actually why taking so much for Bob Montgomery worked so well, is because it could go out further and into different parts of your body. So not only will this be a awesome combination between the Lunison and the RLV, it'll be another way that the Lunison can actually be more bioactive, if I understood that correctly. Did anybody else catch that as well?
If I can chime in, I think the phrase that resonated with me was breaking the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll just go through, and that's going to be fantastic. And once they get the flavor thing figured out, that is going to be such a huge game changer, even more than we already are. And one of the things that I think it was Steve Reed was talking about, and he's like, there's 3 things that people want RLV for. It's anxiety, sleep, and I believe it was anti-inflammation. Is that correct? I'm not looking at my notes, but really, Relive is hitting all 3 of these super hard with the RLV products. And so we're right in those crosshairs of what people are looking for. And it was really interesting hearing Steve Reed talk about how he wished he'd met Bob Montgomery basically 30 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that, just because of what that would have done, but also how thankful he is that things worked out the way they did. And how he really felt like fate and faith brought Relive and SS Biotech together for this partnership with the RLV line. And that was super exciting to hear as well. Let's go on to the next slide. One of the new things that also came out of the weekend is we've got a new product line packaging that was unveiled on the weekend, and this is what our new products will, well, not our new products, but what our products will be looking like, and they will be unveiled, coming out, or in products in the next few months. As they use up the current packaging, they'll just replace them with the new packaging. And basically the big picture of this is trying to help make everything fit into that product wheel that's on the website, and we see them on the slides on Tuesday nights. And a lot of care and thought have been put into this to make it simple, to make it effective. Each can now has basically what it does on the front of it in a very short, simple phrase. And on the back, it also has a testimony on the back, so that you can basically have everything that you need to share this with somebody new right in your hands with the can. And those are also on the product cards as well. But it was interesting to me. So we saw these first, and then later in the week, one of the new board members named Paul Adams for the Relive board was talking about some things that successful companies do. And he said successful companies always have a clear message that is simple. They have a structure or a system, and then they also have tools. And I thought that was interesting because this hits two of those three, of having a very clear, simple message with each one. So it tells you this is optimal nutrition, or Soy Essentials is women's health, or active is weight loss. And then it had just a little bit underneath it that maybe be like the most exciting in the industry ingredient might be listed on the front of the can as well. And basically something that a consumer would recognize and be excited about. And then the back obviously has the bullet points of why this product, and along with the small testimonial. And I just think that's one more tool that they've put into our pockets that actually, there we go, that's the second one, that's really going to help us share these products that much more and really move things forward. And it was interesting that you can see how they're looking at the big picture with all of this. I also put a picture of Louise, who was a Relive champion. I think she got second place, but I thought she should be recognized. So great job, Louise. If you end up, I think you're still in Dallas, but we're very proud of you, and you're killing it with the Fit 3. We all should take her example as we're moving forward. So there we go, back to, we kind of jumped around a little bit, but there's Steve Reed and Dr. Galvez and Tina, and then of course Ryan Montgomery, talking about the potential we have with the RLV line. But this is what I really wanted to get to. Ryan Montgomery went into the entire direct selling universe and what it's comprised of. And most of it, I think it's 80% of it, is either preferred customers or discount buyers. So they might be distributors that are basically taking or purchasing at a distribution level to get the best discount. And when you look at that combined, there's 36.6 million people that are in the direct selling universe in that regard. And then there's 5.2 million people that are part-time business builders. They're people that enjoy the businesses, but they're not all gung-ho, and they're not necessarily the ones that are really pushing themselves to take it to that next level. And then out of all of these people, so we're at 40 million basically right now, there's 1 million that are really full-time business builders. And those are the people that go to the conferences. Those are the people that really push themselves that extra mile. And they're, at the end of the day, the ones that really end up with those incredible business stories are moving forward. But the big thing to take away from this is if our focus is business builders and only people that we really think are going to take us all the way to the top, are missing out on that huge, that's actually over 80% of customer base that really make up the industry. And so going back to Saturday afternoon, one of the things that Paul Adams also was talking about is that customers need to come first always. And he was talking about how the internet has become the great equalizer, where we can now just Google things, we can look online, we can look on Twitter, we can look on social media. The moment they hear about a product, they hear about a company, whatever it is, the truth will be out there because of the internet. And because of that, what our products are matter even more than ever. And the great thing about Relive is over the last 30 some odd years, 32 years, our products have always been the best. And so it puts us in a really phenomenal place to build a business. And so he was talking about the importance of really connecting with people with where they are. And one of the lines that popped out at me, and if anybody else has anything they want to say about Paul Adams, feel free to hop in. But he said, tell people what they need to know, not what you know. And he was really saying that as distributors, the people that are at a conference like this basically have a PhD level of knowledge of Relive. And we need to be sharing it at a 101 level. And that really stuck out at me because I think there always is that in our levels of excitement and enthusiasm. There's always that risk of hosing people down. And I think we need to remember it even more. But we really need to be going into every conversation we have with new people with that how can I share this at the 101 level instead of at the doctoral level, for lack of a better example. But I thought that was something that really blew me out of the water as I was thinking about it, because I don't know that we think of it that often. And then he also talked about the importance of culture and creating that environment where people can grow and they can be excited to be there. And he said that culture is the result of everything you do in the company. And that's both in the corporate sense and then also in the distributor base. And I just thought that was something that was interesting too, because that's something that Ryan has been talking about for several years now, just the importance of getting the culture right. And you can see each time in each conference, you can see how that culture is coalescing and really coming around this new, I almost want to say new Relive, this Relive that's really, we've always been innovative, but now it feels like maybe we're not just innovated only with products, but we're also innovative with the way we're doing social media. We're innovative with our app. We're innovative with the way that we're connecting with different people at different places. And he really said, our big job isn't out to blast out Relive. It's really to go out and meet people where they're at and share Relive the way they want it shared, not the way that we necessarily want it shared. And so those are just a couple of things that jumped out at me from Paul that I thought was really fascinating. Did anybody else pull anything out from Paul Adams on Saturday? I will take it by the silence that nobody else did, or I hit everything that they heard. Okay, well then we will keep moving forward. Tom also on Saturday had a fantastic conversation or did a fantastic workshop on building a healthy master affiliate distributorship. And he really kind of basically, it was before Paul Adams' section, but a lot of it was very similar. And you can see the synergy that's happening up there at the leadership level, which I thought was really awesome. But he talked about the importance of getting those 10 customers, those retail customers, and getting the wholesale and building the volume to get that 2,000 PGPV per month, and what that healthy distributorship should look like, and why you should be at that core position of master affiliate. And one of the things he teased that's coming up is, it sounds to me like there's going to be I almost want to call it a business wheel, like they have the product wheel, but they're going to be making it as easy to understand the compensation plan as they've now made it to share the product wheel. Did anybody have anything that popped out from Tom, when he was talking about building a healthy master affiliateship? Everybody's super quiet.
Hey, Robert.
All right, go. I hear Luann.
Yeah, well, you talked about that PVQ with, yep. The 10, if you had 10 PVQs, and that's just 100 points technically moving, to up the line basically. Then you've got 1,000. So now you don't need to, worry about 2,000. You only need 1,000. But he did talk about PVQ, and in thinking about this and what he has here, at one point in my business, I had many, many master affiliates. A lot of them have dropped back to the 35, and some have gone away and so forth. But anyway, with what I have in my line, and I need to work more on master affiliates technically again, but those that are ordering, they order very consistently. Like last month, I was over $8,100. Just with people that order consistently, and that's with only 2 new people. So I think we need to look at this really close, because we need all those positions. And I think sometimes we get stuck in one area. It's just like they were talking about, your preferred customer, and those are auto ships and retail customers. And sometimes do we skip over the customers and just go straight to distributor? I've done that. So it's that healthy total business model with all areas that we need.
Awesome. Did I hear Christina also?
Yeah, I wanted to agree about the business wheel, because I heard specific words and I was getting ready for it, like that slide to pop up. But then I felt like they were just teasing that, like, oh, well, here's so-and-so to talk about. So it's gotten me very excited for St. Louis and to see if they'll reveal it then. So I'm definitely super excited to get there and work hard till then.
Nice. And you will do it. The other thing that interested me about this, as I was thinking about over the course of the weekend, is Paul Adams really leaned into the importance of going wide with your customer base. And I think it was either him, or I can't remember if it's him or Ryan or Tom, but one of them made the comment at some point is, as you're sponsoring more customers, the leaders are going to pop up and they're going to reveal themselves to you. And then you're going to get your distributors and master affiliates out of that. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I think we often inadvertently we focus for the who's going to be that runner, who's going to be that next Mindy Jones or whatever, and not realizing that maybe they just need to get some results for their family and then discover a few months later they got their own, and you've got the next Louise Cole. And that's a pretty good story, if you ask me. And I don't know why that stuck out at me this weekend, but I think the 80 or 90% customers, or of the people in the industry, are customers, and just recognizing how hard he hit it, or Paul Adams hit it, how hard Ryan Montgomery hit it, how hard Tom hit it. And then there was several workshops as well for getting customers, basically. I think that was what Kimberly Burns was all about, was, selling Relive products. And it was really about listening and connecting, and it's doing IXAR like we've been taught, but it really was a focus on your primary focus is getting more people on the product. And that kind of was a little bit of a paradigm shift for me in some way or another. Anybody else have similar thoughts over the course of the weekend or through these workshops? You can leave it in the chat too, if that you prefer that. But I thought it was fascinating as we were going through this. And Tom was really saying, if you're really working this, the 10 customers retail, he was aiming for 20 customers each month, if I remember correctly. And so that's something, if you're adding 20 new a month, this is, just the beginning, not something to really be aiming for the top. This is just that first step. And I kind of think if we get into that mindset, and I did hear Tom say this at one point, he says we've gotten too comfortable and we really need to raise our standards. And I think he's absolutely correct on this. We do need to be raising our standards, and we need to be recognizing that we can all do this. And really it comes down to, it's sharing with the Uber drivers. It's sharing with we shared with some great Uber drivers or Lyft drivers in our case over the course of the weekend, or sharing with people at Starbucks, or sharing with the random people on the plane, and really getting into that openness of just keeping it short and simple and sharing it at a 101 level instead of a doctoral level. Anybody else have something they'd like to add on that? All right, I will hopefully push the button and move it forward. Then there was Paul Adams that we heard about also. I kind of already hit him, but that is what he looks like for those of you that weren't at the conference. And as I'm thinking back over the course of it all, the entire weekend really was about sharing products with new people. And it was really sharing new products with new people and running with the momentum you get on these people. There was a great workshop with Eileen Tesh and Katie Moore where they were talking about always knowing your goals, taking actions that match those goals, and then getting people, your new distributor or your new customer, on the products. And then once they've gotten on the core nutrition, later on, then you can customize them and add more things, but really keeping it as simple as we possibly can so that people can get their successes and build on those successes. And then making sure that people understand the website and making sure that we understand IXR through and through so that we can share it with new distributors and they can understand IXR through and through as well. And that's the importance of training calls like this, the Saturday morning training calls, and also going to conferences. And so this was, I think, as I'm thinking back over it, this was one of the most jam-packed, power-packed conferences we've had, whether it was from the new product, the kind of the new paradigm shift, which I really think is through the help of Paul Adams and the vision he has. And just for those that don't know, he's been in the industry for decades. He's known Bob for decades. And I spoke with him last summer at length for about an hour and a half, and he was sharing how he and Bob actually go back, I think, like 26, 30 years. And he retired from working with another network marketing company, I believe, and now runs a consultant company, and he's finally joined the Relive board. And I will say, just from observing him interacting with corporate and then also with the different distributors, is one, he gets it. Two, he's incredibly awesome. And three, anybody who's heard Tom say simple is hard, Paul is the guy he got that from. And it really is, it was incredible getting to talk to him and hear what he had to say. So the conference ended up with Tom really kind of laying it all out on the line. And he put this slide up right here. And it's Kobe Bryant who said, "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses." And that's really where Relive is going for the next, years, but specifically as we go into St. Louis this summer, it's all about achieving great things through hard work, perseverance, and no excuses. And the people that really do this, they're going to be the ones that go to Hawaii. They're going to be the ones that are getting more of these bonuses, like Elizabeth and I'm spacing his name, but the Hills, and was it William? And they're the ones, and we're all
Michael.
the ones. Michael, thank you. But that is the way that Relive is going to become a billion-dollar company. We've got the products. It was interesting hearing both people like Steve Reed and then also Paul Adams, who haven't been a part of Relive forever, talk about the unbridled potential that we have because of our products, because of our corporate team, and because of our distributor base. So really what it comes down to is we all just need to work hard. We need to be full of perseverance, and we need to not have excuses. And let's do this. I would suggest everybody who wants to do something great, take it for 5.5 months and see what great thing you can do by working it a little bit harder than you've ever worked before for 5.5 months. And let's see how many people we can get to conference, how many people we can get on this call, how many people we can get to local special events, and make it just a little bit better and us be a little bit more uncomfortable than we've ever been before. And let's take this company to the billion-dollar company it should be. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Liz,
Good. I'm
we-
glad somebody responded.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I am going to stop the webinar, I think, and wish you all a fantastic Monday night. Let's make this a great week and a great 5.5 months. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, let's do it.
Sounds great, Robert. Thank you for the training.
Thank you, Robert. It's great training.
Bye-bye.
Great recap.